Welcome to Project-Based Learning. This is Module 3, Begin. How do you start planning and implementing project-based learning? In Module 3, we discover how to begin planning and shifting towards PBL units. We will be using the template available from the Buck Institute for Education from mypblworks.org. The project idea was also from mypblworks.org from the Buck Institute for Education, and the name of the project was Welcome to the Neighborhood. The duration of this project will be 4 weeks, which I planned because our language arts units are 4 weeks, and this could align with our community language arts unit. The subject course is social studies, as students will be working with map making. The teacher's name is only mine, Cowan. However, if you were doing this as a grade level or enlisting the help of a computer aide, that would be listed as. The grade level is 2nd grade, although keep in mind when you're looking for resources and ideas that many of these can be adjusted for different grades. And other subject areas to include is English language arts, because the students. The key knowledge and understanding for this project is a History Social Sciences Standard 2.2.1, locate on a simple letter number grid system the specific locations and geographic features in their neighborhood. Our first success skill to be taught and assessed includes critical thinking and problem solving. Students will observe in their community and decide important places. They need to make sure these places are important to the community and not solely things. The self-management skill will be making sure that students are writing their descriptions of neighborhood locations by assigned deadlines, and the collaboration will include students working together to create their team section of the map and delegating their. Other success skills could include perseverance, creativity, work or personal habits, or any other skills that your community or school have designated as important. For the project summary, you include the student role, in this case map makers, problem or challenge, people are moving to the neighborhood, action taking, they are creating a neighborhood map including descriptions of important places and purpose beneficiary. Our driving question for this project, the question we want students focused on through the entire 4-week unit, is how can we help new friends get to know our community? This driving question is the reason I chose this project. It's something that our students in the military can relate to, that they are constantly inviting new friends into their community and often moving to new communities where they might have these same questions. The next section is the entry event. And the entry event is the first day that students are introduced to the project. They are involved, they are engaged, and you want to light their fire, create questions, and be memorable. Ideas include videos, guest speakers, active inquiry, lively and passionate. My idea for this entry event would be a video of someone in a new place, unable to find the store, the right park, the school, which would lead into a discussion about moving to someplace. Next, we will look at the products, what the individual is responsible for creating and being assessed upon, and what the team is responsible for creating and being assessed upon. In this case, the individual is responsible for their written description and illustration of one location within the team's category. The specific content and competencies to be assessed, in this case for the individual, our written content must include the location, name, Use and rules. The visual illustration must be of the appropriate size and represent location. Assessment will include paragraph writing skills and include all content. In Module 5, we will talk about assessment, and these pieces are specifically what's being assessed. This would be on the rubric or checklist. This would be what's communicated to students and parents that they need to be proficient in by the end of the project. Simply put, the team's product is a map of their neighborhood, but the specific content would include all important places or geographic places, which involves their critical thinking within their neighborhood, and places are represented in correct locations relative. As we move on to page 2 of the Buck Institute for Education's template for project-based learning, we start with making projects public. And this includes how the projects will be made public and how students will engage. In this case, the public product is a newcomer's map and guide, and it will be distributed as new families move to the base or school. Students will engage with the military liaison throughout the project, the school office, and with new families at a planned reception to reveal their. The resources needed section really spells out what you need to be able to work through this project. It starts with the on-site people and facilities, and for this project, I would definitely take advantage of our awesome computer lab assistant. Maybe you're not solely doing online research and you need to have the help of your librarian or maybe an art teacher. Maybe you have a grade level teacher that you're working with this project on. Any of those people would be listed here. My equipment needed would be computers. My materials include anything they would need for their map making and writing. So maps as examples, copy paper, pencils, erasers, crayons, colored pencils, butcher paper, rulers, any of those. In this case, my community resources would include our liaison and any current maps that they have of our neighborhoods and community. Yours might include locations for field trips, speakers, experts, and specialists that can help bring your. The last section on page 2 is our reflection methods. And remember that reflection is really key to project-based learning. It allows the students to continuously, throughout the project, think about what they have accomplished, their strengths, and what they need to do moving forward. And for journaling and their learning log, I have the individual using that throughout their project. For focus groups, I have teams working with community members as the focus group to really find out what they need from this project. We will reflect as a whole class in the beginning of our project with our introduction to maps and what makes a map important to a community. And finally, they suggest a fishbowl discussion, which is a strategy I do not use often enough in my personal class. The fishbowl discussion involves a selected number of students sitting in the so-called fishbowl, asking questions of each other and answering them, while the rest of the class is sitting as observers on the outside of the fishbowl, taking in all of the. Periodically, students will change whether they are in the fishbowl or whether they are observers of the fishbowl, and really be able to reflect upon everything by both observing and experiencing the fishbowl. For my purposes, I'll be using the fishbowl discussion in the beginning of my project, so students have an opportunity to discuss moving, learning about a new community, what community places are important to know about, and any other feelings they're having regarding making a map of community places. And finally, we'll use a survey at the end, just for the individuals to be able to assess how their group worked, how they felt about their final project, and how they worked throughout the entire project on their own. Yay! We're on the third and final page of the Buck Institute for Education's template for project-based learning. So last page is the student learning guide. The first two blanks should seem familiar from the first page of our template. The project is Welcome to the Neighborhood, and our driving question is how can we help new friends get to know our community? The final section on our template is about the final product, both what the individual and team will be creating, whether it's something tangible or whether it's something that's included within their presentation or event. Your learning outcomes would include the knowledge, understanding, and skills the students are showing through this project. My team learning outcomes include knowing the components of a map and the critical thinking skills of deciding which places need to be included. My individual learning outcomes include creating visual representations on a map and writing a description including details. Those details were specified on the template on the last page, so making sure that they pay attention to all of those. If you recall, one of the great benefits of project-based learning is the checkpoints, the formative assessments throughout the project. So here is where we map out how we will check in with our students and make sure that they are progressing towards the skills that we are expecting them to show. The first checkpoint that I mapped out was with the team to make sure that they're including what needs to be included on their map. And the second checkpoint was for the team as well to see how they delegated the individual places to make sure that that looks even for everyone. I also created a checkpoint to make sure that the individual illustrations are correct sizes for the map and appropriately represent their place. And also that their writing includes the content that's required and to help proofread for. Finally, we'll plan out what instructional strategies all learners require to support and scaffold them towards the final skills and proficiency that we are expecting them to show. I plan on using KWL charts regarding maps to show what they already know about maps, what they want to learn, and in the end, what they did learn about maps. I also plan on using graphic organizers to help them organize what places are in their community and their importance. To help in identifying illustrations that are useful in a map, I plan on us looking at some collages, creating collages that show what is and is not acceptable. And finally, I plan on us doing a gallery walk to support writing a paragraph. With this category, remember to keep your strategies engaging. You want to make sure that you're scaffolding the appropriate skills that your students will be needing, and really pick a variety of different strategies to help support. And you did it. You walked through planning a project-based learning unit with me. This is by no means an expert planned unit. I am a teacher just walking through the steps, trying to find additional strategies to support my students. Feel free to contact me with any questions you may have, comments, improvements to help me with this presentation or creating a project-based unit. I appreciate you following along, and I do have a link here at the end in case you're interested in PBL work.